Okay, let's start off. We want to take this graph, y equals f of x, and graph that's y equals negative f of x plus 3 plus 1. Our first goal will be to see what kind of transformations we have. Let's start off by subtracting 1 from both sides. Y minus 1 equals negative f of x plus 3. And we get the sense that that positive 1 is actually a transformation in y. This negative here is a little problematic. Now, is that a transformation in x? Let's multiply both sides by negative 1. I get negative y minus 1 equals f of x plus 3. And now my transformations are starting to fall into place. We can see that this negative is actually a transformation in y. That minus 1 is a transformation in y. There we go, transformation in x. You'll be tempted, quite possibly, to multiply through by this negative. If we went like this, minus y plus 1 equals f of x plus 3. Now, if you do this and you look here, you think to yourself, okay, this is y to negative y. That's a reflection about the x-axis. So we go from y to minus y. And you'd look at this positive 1, you'd be thinking, okay, positive 1. Great. Okay. So it's thinking, you're thinking, okay, that looks like it's down 1. So you'd be thinking, okay, y becomes y plus 1, which is down 1. Well, in order to test out those theories, let's start off with our function. Y equals f of x. We're going to perform these two transformations and see if we end up with this function right here to see whether we've got the correct transformations. Let's think. First thing I'm going to do is the reflection. I'll do the reflections, compressions, expansions first. So y becomes negative y equals f of x. And then the next thing we're do is this down 1. I'm going to replace y with y plus 1. And be very careful. Don't just add 1 to the left-hand side. You actually have to physically replace this y with y plus 1. And that's going to equal our f of x. Now take a look at this left-hand side. And take a look at this left-hand side. They are different. These two transformations put together do not give us the function we want, which means those are the wrong transformations. And so what we see is that we don't have down 1. Our transformation is actually given to us by this, negative, and then y minus 1. Y minus 1 is up 1. We've got a little bit there too. That's better. Okay. That's our reflection, where y is replaced with negative y. It's a reflection about x. And that right there, y replaced with y minus 1, is a vertical translation up 1. This one right here that we haven't really talked about, x is replaced with x plus 3, is a horizontal translation left 3. Let's do these 3 transformations on our original function and see that we end up with the correct function. Start off with y equals f of x. I'm going to do the reflection first. I'll do the reflections, expansions, compressions, and 4 of the translations. Replace y with negative y. That's my reflection. And now we can do the two translations at the same time here. I'm going to replace y with y minus 1. That's my vertical translation of 1. And I'm going to replace x with x plus 3. That's my horizontal translation of 3. There's our function, and there's the function we want. They're the same. These must be the right transformations. Now all we need to do is graph these transformations. Once again, we do the reflection first. So I'm going to start here. That point reflects about the x-axis. Positive 3 will become negative 3. Positive 1 will become negative 1. I'm just reflecting a few points here. Positive 2 will become negative 2. And that will become right there. And so we can see there we are with our reflection. The next thing I'm going to try is, why don't I do left 3? I'll move it a little bit. 1, 2, 3. That point moves over 1, 2, 3. This point moves over 3. And that point 1, 2, 3 is right there. So here we are after our transformation left 3. And we've only got one left. That's vertical translation up 1. 1. Up 1. And also up 1. And here, more or less, is our final function, this green one. And when we take a look, we can see it matches A. This one over here is the reflection, but it's down 1. That's, of course, what that one's there. This one appears to be the same function, but reflected over y instead of reflected over x. And here's your reflected over y, but down 1 instead of up 1. So this is the correct one, A.